Good morning. Thank you for coming along, everyone, and thank you for being here a little bit early. As I said, we will pause at 11 o'clock for a 2-minute silence. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I've popped this on here. This was my husband's granddad, who was killed in action, as you can possibly see there, on the 16th of April 1917, leaving 5 children. Can you believe it? What a time they must have. Anyway, we are back in the building. So thank you very much for joining me. And good morning to everyone. Good morning, Ethel, Pat, June. Hi, Kerry. Nice to see you. Carol, Kaz, Fiona, Sue, Vivian, Anne, Shirley, Pat, Jane. Happy birthday. Jill, Lynn, Fiona, Shirley, Janice, June, I expect, is there somewhere. I don't know if I said June. I know Heather was as well. So, yeah, let us look forward to things, because that's what we need to do. So, careful where I put my piece of card there. So we're going to be working with 4 Seasons die. So the 4 Seasons die was brought out earlier this year, and it can be done in all different seasons. If you look at the back of this package, you will see some of the different ideas for the 4 seasons that can be used. And I'm going to incorporate it with a little cheeky something here. I'm going to use some of the gnomes, because I think that they would look quite good in here. So let us make a start. So the 4 Seasons die comes with 15 dies altogether, 15 die pieces altogether. And these are the 2 main ones. So these are the ones that make the main part of it. And it's a little bit difficult to tell until you've cut them out, but you've got layers in this die. So this is sort of like the top layer. This is more or less like the trunks of the trees. And this is sort of like the shadows of the trees, or the foliage, whichever way you look at it. So I'm going to go for a nice crisp silver and white card. I'm going to go with a top loading card, as they call it. So it's an A5 card. So I've got the scored at the top. I have done a little bit of work ahead of time, so that because you don't need to see me doing frames and bits and pieces, but some of it we will see. So if you look at your dies, they do not have an outer border. There comes with the die set, it comes with a small outer border, but I wanted something a bit larger just to give me a bit more room to play with. So I've taken some of the excuse me, I've taken some of the nesting rectangles, and I've already cut myself out 2 pieces of cards with those. So I've cut one out in white and one out in the steel foundation card. So let's cut these first. So with my white one's going to go on the front. Oh goodness, when I start talking, it's no good, is it? So let's have a look. Oh, hold on a second. Get some tape. So I'm going to take this into position. Now, because I don't need it to be completely and utterly in the middle. I mean, I don't want it to be up there either, but it's going to be as near as damn it, as they say. So I'm just going to put some tape on there, and I'm going to run that through my machine. Whoops, daisy. Pop that through like so. And as I said, that this one is the top layer. That's the top layer. And then I'm going to do the same with the second layer. So I'm going to pop that into position. And again, just roughly, if it's not quite right, it's not vital. So I'm just going to put that one through as well. I just need to take some of these pieces out. So I hope you're all keeping well, and bits and pieces that you've got to do with your lives at the moment. I hope you're all coping well. It isn't easy, but we've done it before, as we said, and let's hope with these vaccine things that there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, although it is a bit early to say I know with them, but that's really where it's going to all sort of end, isn't it? If we hope it is anyway. So I'm just going to take out these little pieces, and when you haven't got them together, they do look a little bit odd, but when they all go together, they work so beautifully. And again, the difficulty, if you could call it that, is already been taken care of for you, because it's all in the die there. So it's a really lovely finish to it. So if I pop those one on top of another there, you can see that you've already now got this look of having the trees behind it. I've done them also in double-sided sheet on it, so that this piece is all glittered, but I felt that you can see in a minute, we've got enough glitter going on without doing that. So that's the first part of our card. So that's the 4 seasons with the 2 main pieces cut out to start off with. So then I'm going to take a couple of my little gnomes. So the gnomes are very temporarily back in stock. So if you are tempted by them, I do suggest that you go and give them a go now, because there are just a few left if you haven't already got them. The gnome card kits are all out, and the video instructions are all going online. Sorry, not online. They are all going out to the people. Oh, excuse me, I've got someone at the door. Hold on. Sorry, no staff again, and it's a delivery, but bless him, he's going to do it himself. So I'm just inking up my little gnome, and I've already done one ahead of time. So that's that one. So there's 6 in the packet there, and I've just chosen 2 to do. I've used my anti-static bag because there's quite a lot of detail in these. And I just press that down. I could do it in my press to impress, but I haven't. So there you go. And take a little bit of white card. So I'm going to do these with relief silver. So it's quite a detailed silver embossing powder. And you can see that that takes up the image quite nicely. And this one as well. Okay, whoops. And so pop that back into there, like that. And then we need to heat emboss those to get those to dry. And if June is online, she will see what I've got. I've got one of the handy clips, June. Sounds a bit daft, doesn't it? June will know what I mean. Thank you. That's the man leaving them. So I'm just going to get this hot and just start to melt my little gnome. One. And this little one. I just love these gnomes. They're so cute. We like cute things, don't we, eh? We like cuteness. Okay, so I've got my 2 little gnomes there, and I'm just going to cut them out. I'm not going to cut them out so that they're on the line. I'm giving them a little white baseline, and I'm only going to do it roughly. But again, I'm sure you don't want me to watch you doing all this, and I can't see what you're saying at the same time. They are very useful, June. As I said, I've had them, well, they've been out, what, a couple of months, and I've had them all that time, and I keep on thinking I must take them into the craft room and use them, and I haven't done, but I have now, so all is well. So just going to cut this little chap out with a little border. And the same with this one as well, so just a little border. So as I said, there's actually 6 different gnomes in the pack, so you can choose whichever ones you wanted to. The 4 Seasons actually comes with deer, stags, and things like that. So you don't have to sort of do this, but I just wanted to use the gnomes. And I can if I like. Let's trim this up a bit more. So there we are. There's 2. Here's another little one that I did a bit earlier. So 3 different gnomes. Now, before I sort of pop them in, it's a bit cold in gnome land where we are here. So I'm just going to colour in his nose in a sort of aqua. I think that he needs a little blue nose. But that's it. I'm not going to colour any more because I know that people aren't often very happy about colouring, but I think, whoops, you'll see that the detail is all in the stamps there anyway, and so it isn't too important, but I just think he needs a little blue nose coloured in. Okay, so also with your 4 Seasons die comes these 4, actually I think there's more than 4, but some of the little snowflakes, and I just want to cut some of those out from some of the waterfall cards. Now I've got a big piece of waterfall card here, but I wanted them to be a bit sparkly, so I'm going to pop them onto here. Now, we'll have to see if this works out well, in all honesty. I put my little mat on here because they're very detailed and this card is quite thick, so I'm popping my magnetic shim onto there to give it a bit of a chance that it comes out quite nicely with that, because it's got quite a lot to cut through beautifully. Oh, so much so that got one stuck in there. There we go. So just got a few there so that we've got some. So I think they're going to look quite nice on there as well. Okay, so pop that to one side. So now we're going to do a bit of assembly. So as I said, we've got our card blank, and then using my rectangular die, just so that it makes it easier to cut it out, I cut a piece of white card out and I ran it through my Nellie Snellen small dots embossing folder so that I have got something that resembles a bit of snow. And that's going to go straight onto my background here. I'm going to sort of, if I possibly can, centralize it. But again, it's roughly like so. Okay, so then I'm going to take some of my layers here, and I'm not going to put my layers straight down like that. I'm going to give it a bit more of a dimension. So I have cheated very slightly, and I have taken my rectangular dies again, and I've made myself a frame up. So I've used the two sizes down to each other. So you've got one size, then the next, then miss three, and then one size, and then the next. So that's of my rectangle. And what I want to do is stick my first layer of my Four Seasons card straight onto there so that I've got a frame like that. So that's why I wanted a bit of a wider border there, because if I used the die that was with the die set, it wouldn't give me a huge border. And I wanted a bit more of a room to play, not a playroom. So I'm just putting glue on the very outer edge of that, and I'm going to hover that over the top so that I can get that as central as I can, and then pop that down so that that is directly onto there. So now that you've got a whole frame like that, then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to pop some 3mm foam onto this. Oh, by the way, I have got that back in the website, on the website again. So if anyone needs any more foam, that is on the website. So I'm just going to put foam all the way around here. So that we're just going to use all of here. There we go. So I've popped my frame up onto 3mm, so it's quite wide. Oh, got a bit of my hair in it as well. We don't really want a bit of hair in there, do we? So that is now going to go onto my second layer. But the one thing I just want to do is to make sure, I just wanted a bit of dimension in the center. So I'm going to get a tiny bit of foam. I'm going to go with the 3mm still. And I just want a tiny slither on my branches here, just to hold that up a little bit as well. I know it might sound a little bit odd, but again, count for one. So just a tiny, tiny bit of foam just onto there and onto there as well. So take the backings off of this, and that is going to go onto my steel card. So hover that over the top and try and get that as centralised as I can. And I think that's about it for there. And then just those couple of places where I pop the foam there behind, just so that it all sits out a bit level. Okay, so then we've got our level like that. So then I'm going to go a bit extravagant here because this one looks really good if you've got lots of dimension. I'm going to take the foam again and I'm going to put it straight on top of one another, really. I don't want to squash the card. Top of one another from the foam that was underneath. So I've now got a layer, complete layer of 6mm, which is a bit excessive, one would have said, but this card looks really good if you've got like that. So all the way round on that side, and then finally onto there. I'm knocking everything off. Let's pop that back. Not a bit of red tape in sight, eh? Okay, so then I'm going to take my tapes off. Now, because I'm going to be putting this onto my sort of embossed background and therefore a little bit uneven, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue, wet glue as they call it, to this foam, just so that it gives chance to grab a little bit more. I'll turn that over, bring my card in, and then centralise that over the top there. So you can hopefully now see that it's giving you a really deep, deep dimension of a, can you see that? Really, really deep. So then I'm going to take my little cheeky gnomes who live in this forest, don't you know? And some of them live on the outside of the forest, and they just check that all is well in the forest, like so. Some of them live right at the back of the forest, and some of them even just poke out of the forest. So I'm just going to pop these down. So because I've already got lots of dimension on my Ujima flips on my trees, I don't want to put my gnomes on any more dimension. Stay stuck like that. I don't want to put him on any more dimension there. But on this little one, the second one, I am going to put a dimension on him, but I'm only going to put 2mm. So he's not going to be showing up too much, but he will be sitting slightly in front then of this other little one. Take him off. And again, because I've got a bobbly surface, a bit of glue on there just to help him stay stuck. So he's sitting a little bit proud. And then this little one, I'm going to stick him down there. And I think he's going to go, is he going to go with a bit, what do you reckon? Does he go a bit with that on? Yeah, he goes with a little bit of foam on as well. Only a 2mm one, so not a big one. I've already gone past the hoping to send it flat, so what does it matter with a little bit of dimension? And then just to finish it off, I'm just going to pop some of these little snowflakes, and I'm going to use some of my sticky specks, I think, to put them in because they're quite detailed, aren't they? What have I done with the other one? There it is. Let's just push that in. So I hope I've inspired you to take your, if you have already got your Four Seasons die, I hope I've inspired you to take that out and have a play about with it, because, you know, now's the time of this year that we can use some of the snowflake Christmassy type thing. And then we can use it again in the spring and all sorts, can't we, really? So let's just pop that randomly there. And a little one down there as well. Oh, don't want that centre in it, not when the others haven't got the centre. Or maybe we'll have to have it now. No, we won't. There we are. So they haven't got no gnome to go to. This is where they live. So if you didn't know about your gnomes, this is where the gnomes live. They live in the house. In there, the house is behind the woods. You can't quite see the house from here, but they were just caught on their way, and someone said, "Can I take a selfie?" And there you go. That's where they are. I can't help it, you know. I can't help it at all. It's a bit different, isn't it? It's a bit different. So as I said, if you haven't already got your lovely gnomes, I do suggest that you do grab them whilst they're still there, because there are just the last few left now, and I'm afraid they really aren't going to be repeated. We might have different sorts of things next year, but these ones definitely aren't going to be repeated. And I'll just show you again. The die that I used was the one that's called Four Seasons, and it comes with the snowflakes down here. And as I said, the main card came with the beautiful stags and bits and pieces and some flowers as well, to be able to use it in the springtime sort. But I've used it very much in winter and with the little gnomes. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you. Well, it's nice to tell you a little story all about them, isn't it, eh? Thank you for joining me with the 2-minute silence. I do appreciate that. I am denied whether to actually be live at that time as I was on Sunday, but for me, to be able to show you about my family as well there, I think was what I wanted to share, and it's thinking about someone in particular for me, isn't it? So I'm sure we've all got someone that we know that sacrificed their lives for us. So it doesn't make it any the less poignant, does it? So have a lovely day. I will be back here on Friday morning at 10 o'clock with Fancy Friday. And then I've got some new products coming in on Sunday. I think they will be here for Sunday anyway. But also we've got Friday evening, 6 o'clock is the last one day special for John Next Door, with a couple of new products there as well. Last one this year, 2020. So if you have chance to look at that, you may well wish to. Okay. I haven't got the black in, Heather. It should be under the, I think it's under miscellaneous, but I will check. I will check that straight away. Unfortunately, my website has updated and puts everything in a different mode, and I might not have crossed it off, so I will just check for that. Okay, everybody. So thank you very much. I'll see you a little bit later on. See you Friday at 10 o'clock. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.